Can we just be thankful that even if Valve, who still have their reputation as good guys, in spite of the fact that they definitely microtransaction the crap out of things, is not the only one succeeding right now? Larian Studios,
dude.
Giant middle finger to microtransactions.
Dude.
There are no microtransactions.
None.
And it was, I had a very, very brief exchange with someone on their team. And basically what it amounted to was that
he's cool.
They took a big risk doing a game the old way.
Yeah.
And it's been very validating seeing gamers react to that and shovel truckfuls of money at them for actually giving a shit and doing it properly.
And I showed this earlier. I'm going to jump back over.
This is the developer of Baldur's Gate 3, guys, Larian Studios.
Yeah.
They're selling a few. They're selling a handful here.
Yeah, I mean, how long has it been out now? Probably 2 months?
Yeah, it's been a couple months now.
On Steam, Counter-Strike 2, Dota 2, Baldur's Gate 3.
People are playing the crap out of it.
Cyberpunk has gotten crazy coverage recently for doing great things, releasing this 2.0 update.
People are
and this new
jazzed
DLC
on the
that's
new
supposed to be
updates.
amazing. It's apparently stunningly great. Baldur's Gate is still beating it, both in current players right now and also peak today. And I would also point out that the current players in peak today are very similarly high.
Oh, yeah. So people are just turning on Baldur's Gate 3 and then
just
eating at their computer.
Yeah.
And running quickly to go pee and getting back to their computer.
And I know a lot of people that are running second, third, full campaigns at this point, whether with a different mix of people or even just by themselves and just doing different actions or playing with different characters in their party.
I love that it's co-op friendly.
It's super co-op
I started it with the wife.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's been a challenge.
Yeah. I have some counterpoints. I didn't want to actually talk about it because I wanted to talk about it.
I noticed that. You're like, how's Baldur's Gate 3? Hold on, this is worth looking at. Luke and I are chatting on Discord. I mean, I'm gonna pull this up. You're just gonna have to deal with this, okay? Here we go. This is amazing. Okay, so here's my phone. Okay, this is thoughts on BG3. Here's a wall of text I sent back to him, thoughtfully crafted. I thought we were having a conversation.
I don't think you should show the next line.
His next message goes, unrelated to your above post, some other stuff.
There you go. Yeah, some other stuff.
Are you kidding me?
Okay, what you said was too interesting. So I was like, I can't talk about this. We have to wait until WAN. No, a good employee. I think you should put it because it's good for WAN. Because you had a lot of I thought you were gonna be like, it's good. I didn't think you were gonna write a novel. So I think we should talk about it.
He goes, unrelated to your above post, something he said, and I'm like, but you mean that, but not in Baldur's Gate 3? And he's like, I mean, that's also true in Baldur's Gate 3 sometimes. I go, any context? And he's just like, a different convo that was going on. I'm like, what the f*** are you talking about? Okay, fine. What do you want to talk about then? Why don't I read out what I said?
Pretty much the whole thing, yeah.
Okay. Definitely
Let's go point by point.
Definitely some quality of life things are annoying. The camera controls are driving me nuts.
Okay, so I completely agree. The camera controls were, I think, if I had to take a complete guess, I think they were just taken directly out of Divinity Original Sin 2.
Well, they suck.
They have the same kind of problems. I don't know how far you are in, but there's this gate that you go through at some point. I'm not going to be too specific.
Sure.
But
Baldur's by any chance?
No, actually, I'm talking about one before that.
Wait, do you just mean in the tutorial mission, very early? Because you definitely go through a gate very early on.
There's one particular one I'm talking about.
Sure.
I don't want to get into it, but getting through it is so annoying.
It was annoying. It was hard to click on it because you just click on the arch above it and you're trying to click on the ground past it.
Yeah.
So that I mean, that's okay. For us, it's about 2 hours in, but I think it's probably about 20 minutes in for people
it actually
who are
really depends.
Not playing with Yvonne.
Boom. It really depends. You could go a route that gets you there pretty late, but I think we're talking about the same gate. But it's pretty annoying to get through. So yeah, I think the camera controls could be a bit better, but
honestly though,
they're fine.
I hate the camera controls in pretty much any top-down game that isn't Supreme Commander.
Yeah.
Once you use what they call strategic zoom, is what they called the camera controls in Supreme Commander. Once you use anything else, once you use that, everything else seems just designed to frustrate you.
Yeah.
It's amazing. With the scroll wheel, you can go in pretty much an instant all the way out so that your entire screen is the entire area map with, fog of war or unexplored areas covered as applicable. And then every playable anything or every character, every unit is like represented by an icon that just shows you what kind of unit it is and what tier level it is. And then you can go from there. You can just flick your wheel. So wherever your mouse is, you flick your wheel and you can go all the way down to just that one individual unit and absolutely everywhere in between.
Very
with
seamless.
Pretty much infinite granularity. Not infinite, but definitely enough granularity that you can do and see anything you'd want to see. You can also grab the camera and adjust it down if you want to just watch a battle take place or whatever it is. It is a spectacular
It's really good
camera. And so for something like Baldur's Gate 3, I am constantly like, what if I wanted to see more than a dozen steps in front of my character right now? But what if I didn't want to zoom out?
Yeah. I wish I could zoom out, and even if they're like part of the tactical nature of the game is that you can't see that far or whatever, just fog of war it or something.
Yeah, I don't.
But let me zoom out.
Yeah, especially because a lot of the time there is no fog of war excuse for it because I have a character over there. I just don't happen to have that one selected right now. So no, I don't actually. No, I don't buy that at all. Like Anno 1800 didn't have a far enough zoom out at launch. And the reason for it was just that it was a really demanding game and they had performance concerns. So because that team has done an amazing job with that game, by the way. They've built so much content for it.
Huge labor.
Expansion packs, but not like...
The tactical view, I don't think is exactly what he's asking for.
Microtransaction sort of crap. And so basically, they listened to their players and they built an extended zoom out. And they're just like, when you click it, it just says, hey, this may have a performance impact. Boom, problem solved. You can see so much more of the map and you can comfortably tactically manipulate things. I find it very frustrating.
So do you know about the tactical view?
No, I haven't used the tactical view.
Okay, so that can help. I still don't like it for things like getting through the gate that we were talking about.
Sure.
But it definitely can help, for sure. It gives you like a more combat-styled top-down vertical view that has more of a... Yeah.
That's still not far enough.
Yeah.
Not even close.
Yeah, that's what I was saying. It can help, but it doesn't solve it.
I need to be able to see to...
Oh, that is BG3. I thought that was Divinity for a second.
Here. At least. Like right now, this is one movement and change. Mm-hmm. That's nothing.
Yeah, I wish I could see a little bit more.
Yeah, definitely.
Okay, keep going.
All right. I want to invert the middle mouse button camera drag. Didn't see an option for that. Need to look into it more. Is there a way to do that?
Yeah.
It's driving me absolutely crazy. So hold middle mouse to move the camera around, and I want it the other way.
I wouldn't be surprised.
There's probably a mod or something.
I was going to say, there are. I just looked it up. There are currently 2,200 mods for Baldur's Gate 3 on Nexus.
Yeah, so I said, I hadn't looked into it at all.
I bet you there's a camera zoom one. I wouldn't be surprised.
I said it was couples gaming night, so I didn't want to tinker with dumb stuff like that. Otherwise, I would spend all of couples gaming night tinkering with the interface of my game and us doing absolutely no gaming together.
Yeah, Jean-Luc, he wants to invert that. He knows that that's how that works. He wants to invert it.
Yeah, I want to invert the horizontal, the x-axis movement. Lack of a tutorial is kind of stupid, IMO. Apparently they have addressed this and it increases playtime, but...
Okay, I didn't know they had addressed this. I was going to say, the tutorial thing is always really funky because I feel this way with Starfield and BG3, but there was an era, I'm going to guess, but I have no idea, 5 years ago, where everyone was raging at games for having these like way too ridiculous tutorials. Sure. I find in a lot of shooter games, having any tutorial just annoys me.
Yeah, that's fair.
Obviously, control or C crouches. Obviously, fire is left click.
Sure.
Obviously, I do all these various things.
Counterpoint.
Not obvious to everyone.
I've played Dragon Age Origins, and that's it. Anytime I've tried to do a more hardcore Dungeons and Dragons game, whether it's KOTOR or whether it was Neverwinter Nights 2.
What was confusing to you about the Dungeons and Dragons portion? Because...
Well, no, hold on. I'm not done yet, though.
Okay.
So I've played Dragon Age Origins, but I have never made it into like a hardcore D&D game. So there's a ton of stuff that wasn't intuitive to me, and I just didn't know.
Like what, though?
So, for example, I wasn't sure what the orange bar on the right side next to all your characters is. It's how much movement you have remaining on your turn, but I just had to infer that. And that was annoying because I was spending a bunch of my time figuring out stuff for myself while also answering questions for someone who, unlike me, has never touched a role-playing game at all.
Right.
And so if one of the features of this game is co-op, I think that there's an expectation. Look at It Takes Two. That game was clearly, intentionally f***ing easy. Like it was beautiful. I have criticisms of it, but it was beautiful, and it managed frequent gameplay shifts that kept you engaged, but it was really easy, basically impossible to fail. And the reason for that is because it was clearly designed for the gamer and their SO. Same with Haven, for example. Another, you can play this as a couple type game. So if co-op is a major feature here, then I do think they have to consider that not everyone is a gamer and not everyone has played Dungeons and Dragons. Like for Yvonne, I'm just trying to think. It's been a few days now, but I'm just trying to think of some of the other things that she found kind of confusing.
One thing I would defend with that is
Sure.
they didn't think it would be anywhere near as successful as it was.
That's fair.
So they probably thought the target audience and the vast majority amount of people that were going to play this were both gamers and probably in a lot of cases, because I know a lot of Larian fans are D&D or other various tabletop RPG players. And something I was going to ask you earlier is how much Divinity Original Sin 2 did we play? I don't think it was much.
Not much. We played the tutorial.
It has the same type of movement style mechanics where you have a certain amount of distance you can move per turn and stuff like that. Did you find that equally as confusing in that game?
Well, no, it wasn't the movement that was confusing. It was what that orange bar was.
Oh, okay.
I just didn't know what the heck it was. It was just an unlabeled orange bar. It doesn't even have a tooltip if you mouse over it.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it's just there. And I'm okay. So there's a lot of stuff that's just not labeled, which is not. That's not good.
Yeah.
Hold on. There was a comment in the chat that I had wanted to address really quick there, but I guess I missed it. Yeah, I mean, people are talking about tutorials. Like, yeah, you don't have to play tutorials. Oh yeah, no, here we go. Lord Duder. I didn't know what 1D20 plus meant. Had to watch a tutorial. No, yeah, Yvonne had no idea.
Having some optional, like, how dice work in this game.
It wasn't okay. By default, eavesdrop's not enabled. So we were independently.
Are you sure?
Yeah, I'm sure. I'm 100% sure. Eavesdrop was not enabled by default, which meant that both of us had cutscenes running and were not engaged with them at the same time. Also, that annoyance that Plouf brought up, where your best character for a particular role is not necessarily the one that participates in it.
Apparently, there's some way to solve that.
Sure, but when you're playing in co-op, whoever initiates a conversation...
How can you not solve it?
It doesn't seem like it. So there was one where we tried to... where there's like a dead mind flayer or something, or dying mind flayer. This is very early on, so it's not a spoiler or anything.
If you haven't got to that point, you haven't played the game
yet. So there's a dying mind flayer, and I was the one who started the conversation, and my character was not as good at whatever it is that we were trying to do. So I tried to just disengage from the conversation, but that's it. Once you've done it, the tree is completed, and when Yvonne tried to do the thing, it was not an option anymore. So there's definitely some frustrations. Okay, let's go on. As someone who has had trouble getting into the more hardcore D&D style games in the past, this lack of instructions is particularly unhelpful. My mage leveled up, I chose Magic Missile, and I couldn't find it anywhere in my toolbar.
That part I wasn't sure.
I don't know. I can't find it. Also, just the fact that your toolbars are separated into what, like actions, whatever,
minor actions,
other more
reactions.
different actions, and then tertiary, like basically mostly useless actions. And then if you click twice, it's like all of them, and then it's just those ones. Like it's a toggle, but it's not really clear that it's toggled. So Yvonne was really confused by like what all these actions are and why some of them like get grayed out and some of them don't.
Like spell slots and stuff like that.
Yeah. Order as well, I don't think is explained.
Yeah.
Like you can only do stuff in a certain order and some of it's a bonus action, but if you do it without doing the bonus action, then you don't get to do it. Or it's all kind of like D&D rules, right?
Yeah. So I had to hold her hand on things as simple as movement. Yeah.
Cantrips, yeah.
That's
Is she playing a spellcaster?
yes.
It is significantly harder.
Well, there you go.
It's much more complicated.
She just picked based on who she thought had the coolest backstory. So
And she picked a spellcaster.
yeah, I can't remember which one it is. It's someone that looks like something.
Gale? White?
No, it's the other one, I guess. I don't know. Doesn't matter.
Wait.
What?
Did she pick the one that Wendell picked? The hunger or whatever?
I don't know.
It doesn't look very humanoid. It's like a dragonborn, but I don't think you know what that means.
Sure, maybe. I can't remember.
Oh, Will! That actually totally makes sense.
All right.
Yeah.
I find character selection kind of annoying. I want to click on things without just moving all the time necessarily. And like escape doesn't just give you a cursor. I just want a cursor that I can just like click on things with. So I was finding that kind of annoying.
Character selection? You can just click them in the sidebar on the left.
Or I could just press escape and then click them. What do you think of that? There's an idea. How about that? Like every other game that's ever existed.
I like the sidebar thing.
Cool. Then that should be an option for you. And then
Do
if I press
both.
escape,
Do both!
something as simple as unselecting my active characters, kind of annoying. It always just wants to move them. And I'm sure there's a better way to do all of this stuff. Like it's just, remember, this entire thing is based on that we've played not even the full tutorial section of the game yet. So this is not a review. This is not that at all. Blah, blah, blah. More camera complaints. I said the setup for the story is interesting enough that we played for a couple hours, though. The cinematics are super cool. I think we will try again, was my conclusion.
Yeah.
So, yeah, we haven't played again yet because I've been extremely busy, but F keys.
First of all, hilarious.
Yeah,
There's an ad for Linus Detective Screwdriver.
Oh, nice.
But he didn't see it at first because he can't see ads.
I was not aware of it. I was
the way that you said, "Oh, nice," I was like, "Yeah, he didn't see it at all."
when you told me there's an ad for, all I had seen was Native Camera Tweaks thumbnail thing. I hadn't processed anything above that.
Yeah. But yeah, native open source plugin providing several camera tweaks, unlocked camera pitch, zoom, and controller stick dead zone. No separate executables configurable. 300,000 downloads. So
very nice.
Luckily, I think a lot of the problems that you have with the game are like functions, or like, I don't know if I want to say mechanics, but like things that are solvable. Because I don't think your problems with the game are like the story or any of that kind of stuff. So it might be worth looking into some modding if they do bother you that much. But I think, I've thought since it released, I think this is Game of the Year. And the fact that it is just refusing to let go of its like top 3 most played Steam position is crazy for how long it's been out as a not like competitive online game. It's co-op, sure, but other than that, it's not online. So you'd think people would like play it and then stop.
It's also not even a super accessible game,
No.
which is, I guess, what I was trying to say. It's not like as a non-gamer, you can just jump right into this. Like I mean, okay, back to It Takes Two. That was a co-op game that as a non-gamer, you could pretty much jump into if you had a gamer friend or a gamer SO. This, I mean, yeah, wow, and it's demanding too. It's not even just something that anyone can run on any ancient computer.
Yeah, it takes a bit to run.
You're asking for a lot of ducks to align to play this game at all. Yeah, no, I'm. It's been pretty interesting so far. Yeah, I do want to play more of it. I will say, I already know that I prefer the more normie, like I guess it's the equivalent of playing a super arcadey racing game versus playing a sim. Like I'd rather just play Dragon Age, personally, but I'm really gonna try this time. Really.
Yeah. I don't know. It's a fantastic game.
Unless City Skylines 2 comes out and I just get completely distracted.
City Skylines.
I never got into City Skylines.
Yeah. Why do you think you're going to get into 2 if you never got into 1? That's why I was surprised by it.
Because people are super jazzed on it. I love Anno, and I've been told I would love City Skylines, and City Skylines 2 is coming. It seems like a good excuse to try it. And I'll probably like it more than this. Because it's city building, which I like more than fighting with obtuse controls.
And I'll stick with my Baldur's Gate.
Yeah. No, that's good. That's
I have
good.
zero issue fighting with obtuse controls as an enjoyer of things like Star Citizen. Doesn't bother me
that's
at
a feature
all.
for you.
It might be at this point. I don't know. Another thing I'll point out. Steam reviews. 300,000, overwhelmingly positive. The all-time reviews are 95% positive. The recent, 96. It's improving.
People like it even more.
Yeah, because they've released some updates. And the updates, I believe, have been fairly well received. I know, I think one of them introduced a new bug, but then they had a hot fix out like that. So they fixed it right away. They've even released updates that fix things that people pointed out that they didn't like very much, narratively. They changed potential stories and stuff to make it better. It's whoa, that's pretty cool.
Wow, interesting.
I think there are an insane amount of potential paths they could take with things like DLCs. And I think, honestly, if they didn't do content-based DLC that at this point,
crazy.
That would just be stupid.
They would actually be crazy not to do that now.
They should absolutely release content DLCs for this game. And honestly, make it decently big and charge some money for it.
No, I could easily see $39.99 easy for here's another land to explore.
Another act, a whole, because the game's in 3 acts or whatever. If you release a 4th act, holy, I don't know. I would kill. But yeah, Larian's been awesome forever. I have a record from Divinity Original Sin 2 that's signed by a whole bunch of the developers, and I've been a Larian enjoyer for a while now, and I'm very happy with them with the success of Baldur's Gate, and it's wild to me that it's still so incredibly
Larian
successful.
enthusiast.
Yeah.